Now, in the build-up to Liverpool's trip to Tottenham, I saw quite a few pundits and commentators suggest that this was something of a difficult game to predict, and the reason given for that was that basically you never know which version of Spurs is going to turn up. But for me, that analysis ignored the obvious fact that the likeliest outcome from today was always that the best version of Liverpool, or at least something close to that, was going to turn up and basically wipe the floor with Spurs. And to be honest, I think that's what we saw really as Liverpool ran out 6-3 victors. And for me, this was a statement performance from a team that is desperate to be champions, showing that they are a cut above all their rivals and absolutely deserve to be favourites for reasons beyond the fact that they are so clear ahead in the Premier League table at the moment. And maybe that might seem like I'm going a little bit too far on the basis that, of course, Liverpool did show some frailties today. They did concede 3 goals, but it's worth remembering that Tottenham are very, very good in attack as a starting point. They were playing at home, but also they haven't been defeated by more than a single goal in every defeat that they've had so far this season. So as much as we talk about them as flimsy and chaotic, they have kept the defeats quite close. And so for Liverpool, as I say, to run out 6-3 winners, to win by 3 clear goals, I think says an awful lot about them and where they are in terms of the title race. For me, not just huge favourites on the basis of the lead they have, but also the performances. They just look a side that is above anybody else out there at the moment. And as I say, they showed it in this victory today, and the stats utterly back that up. I mean, you look at the shot count, Spurs take 9 shots, Liverpool 24. Shots on target count, 5-12 in Liverpool's favour. Expected goals, Spurs with 1.25, Liverpool with a ridiculous 4.55. And the big chances, 2 for Spurs and 9 for Liverpool. So absolute domination from the very first whistle to the last, really, from Liverpool. And I know, the goals conceded will maybe weigh on people's minds a little bit. I'm sure Arne Slot won't be happy with them at all either, and we'll be getting into his players. But I'll just quickly bring up a shot map here, and you can see Spurs' shot map. You can also see Liverpool's, which is outrageous, the amount of shots that they took. But if you look at Spurs there, it seems like every time the ball dropped in a potentially profitable area for Spurs, they actually scored off the back of it. And I think that's kind of backed up by the fact that the XG is only 1.25. So to score 3 goals from 1.25, the expected goals, they've maybe been a little bit fortunate in that. And I think, you look at Spurs' first goal, that comes from a moment of kind of Liverpool sloppiness, which, I think Liverpool's worst moments in this game were almost when it became too easy for them. Basically, they were so dominant that they were giving little passes away when they shouldn't have. And so you've got to credit Spurs as well. They kept going, they kept pressing, they kept trying to create opportunities and did get those goals. But I still don't think I'm coming away from this game thinking, I've seen huge weaknesses from Liverpool there that don't bode really well. I just felt they were in control for basically all of this game. And as I say, to put 6 goals on Spurs, that takes some doing. Nobody else has done that this season. And as I say, nobody's beaten them by more than a single goal. So a 3-goal win says a lot for me in terms of the performance level. And it's just the general control and Liverpool, how incisive they look going forward. It just looked to me a hugely complete team and one that is ready to go on and win the Premier League title. So it did, as I say, felt like a statement performance from Liverpool. And you just think, if you're a fan of any of the title rivals and you've been sat there watching that game, tuning in, hoping that Spurs might do you a favour, I think you're coming away very, very disappointed, aren't you, at the end of the day, because you have seen a side there that looks fully equipped to go on and lift this title and maintain that big lead that they've already built up. And that, of course, is already a big factor in this. I mean, Liverpool are 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League. They have a game in hand as well. So they couldn't be in a much better situation going into Christmas. And I'm sure, as I say, Slot will maybe have a little bit of a focus and a word with his players about the goals he conceded today. But when he looks at the overall picture, surely he's absolutely delighted with what he's actually saw, over the entirety of the 90 minutes today. But not just that, over the entirety of his reign thus far, which has been pretty immaculate. Now I'm going to go into a few individual performances, and I want to start with Dominik Szoboszlai, who, for me, he was right up there in man of the match contention. I thought he was absolutely fantastic today. He just, from the very first whistle, he just seemed to be everywhere, plugging gaps, running over Spurs midfield, making an extra man in attack, but also an extra man in defensive situations. And a lot of what he did that I really admired as well was kind of turning dirty possession into something Liverpool could build from. So, sometimes Spurs would press and maybe a hopeful ball forward would come from the defenders at the back, and he would just seemingly turn that into something, whether it was kind of heading it off to someone or battling to win the ball and get get it under control, and then Liverpool would build from there. And he worked his socks off, as you always expect. I mean, his defensive numbers are great. 3 out of 5 ground duels won, 3 out of 3 aerial duels, which again I think suggests he was winning a lot of headers today. He's got that physicality. Why not use it? 5 recoveries. But also, we always talk about the fact that something that's been criticised about him sometimes this season is the lack of end product and not contributing in the final third when he's got the ability to do that and shows it so regularly for his country. But he absolutely did do that, didn't he, today? Obviously, he takes his goal brilliantly, sets up McAllister's goal. He doesn't get an assist for that, but he's up in the air, winning that header or making the defender lose the header, so places it in a place where McAllister can run on and head that in. And then he also, of course, gets the assist from Mo Salah. So a really complete midfield performance from your number 8, exactly what you want, really. So good on the defensive side, incredible impact in the attacking aspects as well. As I say, that is a complete midfielder we're talking about here, and we did see signs of this under Jurgen Klopp. Some really, really good performances, particularly in the first half of last season. But I think we're seeing Arne Slot get even more out of him in this system, and he really seems to be coming into form now. So I thought he was absolutely fantastic today. Brilliant performance. Arguably, I would say his best in the Liverpool shirt thus far. Do let me know if you agree with that sentiment. I'm going to move on to a couple of lads at the back, and I am going to bundle them together. I don't typically do that, but I think you have to work with these two as a partnership. And maybe this seems bizarre to be praising your central defenders after you concede 3 goals, but I did just think Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez were fantastic today. I mean, Joe Gomez doesn't show up hugely in the defensive numbers because a lot of what he was doing well was kind of anticipation and getting there before it even had to be a challenge. But I thought he was so good at marshalling the wide areas to allow Trent off the leash today, to allow him to get into attacking areas and really impact the game, which of course we see in the opening goal of the game. A brilliant ball. He can only occupy those zones because you've got someone with Joe Gomez's pace, his composure, ability to read the game in those areas to cover off that right-hand side. And I thought a lot of his defending today was really, really good. As I say, strange one to say after you concede 3, but I did think he was really, really good today. And I thought the man alongside him as well, Virgil van Dijk, I mean, his numbers do stand out. 9 out of 9 duels won. That's ridiculous, by the way, to win that many, but to win that many as a percentage, to win 100% when you contesting 9 duels is outrageous, really. Wins 4 out of 7 tackles as well, and I just thought marshalled the defence really well. As I say, not a lot he could kind of do around the goals that did get scored. A mistake around the one that Maddison scores, just a great finish from Kulusevski, and then obviously the last one, the ball loops over him. Again, not a lot he can do about that, and a good finish from Solanke. But I still thought they both played really, really well, and I'm sure they'll come away and be disappointed they didn't get the clean sheet. Obviously, as defenders, you want that, but I still think they should be pretty pleased with the performance personally. And I'm going to move into the attacking third now for a man I absolutely cannot ignore. And of course, I mean, I have to talk about him every week now, don't I? It's Mohamed Salah. And it's a funny one, really. I mean, I'm watching his first half and thinking, Salah's a little bit quiet here. Liverpool are getting in some good positions, but, and he's getting quite a lot of shots, but I almost felt like he could still be influencing it more. I felt like Liverpool could get him on the ball in dangerous areas more, and that's despite him having 5 shots quite early in the game. It seems mad to say it, but that's genuinely the feeling that they could have got him into better areas than they did more frequently. And then obviously he doesn't get his goal in the first half, but then he caps it off by getting the goal that for me really seals the game in assisting Szoboszlai, playing him through. Real composure on the counter and real quality there. And of course then goes on to get another assist, 2 goals to end with 2 goals and 2 assists, and it's just outrageous, really. I mean, his 2 goals, easy takes for a player of his standard, but he always takes them, doesn't he? His assist for Diaz, beautifully weighted to run on and smash that home. So two assists of real quality, 2 goals that you would expect him to score, but as I say, he always does. And really the bigger picture stuff with Salah, beyond the fact that he's got 2 goals and 2 assists in a match, which by the way moves him on to 15 goals and 11 assists in the Premier League this season. He is quite clearly the best player in the Premier League at the moment, you have to say that. But the bigger picture is the fact that it moves him 4th on the all-time scorers list for Liverpool now. He's leapfrogged Billy Liddell in that list, which is just an insane achievement, really. And he's got Gordon Hodgson in 3rd place, just 12 goals ahead of him now. And I'm pretty sure he'll be eyeing up Roger Hunt in 2nd. I think there's a few more goals to go for that one. but he will have a chance surely to get there if Liverpool do what they should do, which is wrap up this contract and get him signed up, because look at his performance level at the moment. It's just insane. And I always say this, but okay, Liverpool might have worries about what he'll be in maybe 2 seasons' time or 3 seasons' time, and I understand that. But surely there's no doubt that he's still going to be one of the best players in the world next season. And Liverpool can't afford to let him go and do that elsewhere. He's too important, too good. And yeah, 2 goals and 2 assists in a 6-3 win. Pretty special player. And just absolutely running out of superlatives with which to describe him now, because this performance level is outrageous. And yeah, he's on track to win the Premier League Golden Boot and the Playmaker Award, which is, yeah, he's done that once before, by the way, but to do it twice would be absolutely ridiculous. So I'm going to wrap it up there. One little bit of housekeeping I want to mention actually on this is that if you may have noticed that Federico Chiesa wasn't in the squad today. Don't worry, that's not an injury. I'm told that was just a selection decision. Obviously, Chiesa not at his sharpest at the moment. They still want to get that into him, get him fully ready before he can come into the team. And they had so many good options they could put on the bench, especially in attacking areas with Elliot, Nunez and Jota. So they got ahead of him in the pecking order today. But as I say, I think that's understandable, and I'm sure we will see more of him in the games that are coming up. Obviously, you've got that FA Cup game coming up soon, some more League Cup games. So I'm sure we'll see more of him in then. But it's just a case of better options being better, more fit today, and being ahead of him in that pecking order. So, as I say, going to wrap it up there, and just want to say, I mean, look, Liverpool at the top of the league going into Christmas, the 4 points ahead of Chelsea, the 6 points ahead of Arsenal, and they've got a game in hand on both. And I think sometimes you have to stop and really soak up the position that they're in, because I can't say it enough. I did not expect this to happen with a new manager coming in over the summer, with just the one signing who was added to the squad, and he's barely played so far this season. And I will continually say this as well, that this is not normal for a new manager to come in and kind of find it this easy, and to have Liverpool in the position that they are in at this point in the season. It's pretty remarkable. And so every Liverpool fan should be soaking that up, enjoying it as much as they can, and I'm sure that Christmas dinner will taste even better with Liverpool being in the position they are at the very top of the tree on Christmas Day. It's pretty good feeling, I'm sure. So if you can drop me a like and subscribe as ever, really appreciate that. Obviously I'll be there on Boxing Day to watch the Leicester City game. That will be absolutely freezing, I'm sure, but I'm looking forward to it, looking forward to seeing this team and whether they can continue this remarkable run that they're on and extend the lead at the top of the Premier League. So if you don't subscribe, do make sure you do hit that button so you can catch that match action. I'll see you guys very soon.